What really moves the needle is imagine bringing on 5 or 10 more agents that each do 20 transactions themselves. That could be 100 to 200 more units closed per year. Hi, my name is Brian Icenhower, and I'm here to talk to you about the lead buyer's agent, and in particular, the job description of the lead buyer's agent on a real estate team. And with real estate teams in general, when we're starting them, typically we're looking to get some admin support first, right? And then we typically, once we've got an administrative assistant in place, we'll start to look to add buyer's agents to the team. And at some point, maybe it's with 2, 3, 4, 5 buyer's agents, it's going to behoove the team leader, the owner of the team, to actually allow one of those buyer's agents to kind of grow into a lead buyer's agent role. And I typically like to see someone with a little bit of experience that succeeded in the buyer's agent role. And when I mean succeeded, I mean on two fronts. Yes, they need to have sold a decent amount of real estate, 20, 30, 40 transactions a year minimum, depending on what's normal in your area. But I also like to see a large percentage of that production come from the buyer's agent's own sphere of influence. So they need to actually be leading by example. If you want the agents on your team to bring business to the team and grow and contact their own sphere of influence and develop their own businesses within the team, well, like most agents do, we need to make sure your lead buyer specialist has really grown their own database and is getting a significant amount of business from their own sources. We don't want it to be just from team-dependent leads only. So they need to actually lead by example. So that's very important. So oftentimes one of these people will show up, and then it's great because what we can do is we can really put some additional tasks on them to help them lead. And a lot of people don't realize this, but first and foremost, that the goal is they need to be a recruiter. They need to be able to recruit first. So that's how we're going to grow the team. And quick in having a mindset around growing the team is what's so important. Yes, we're going to have them coach and train the agents on the team, and we're going to help them, and hopefully this lead buyer's agent or lead buyer specialist, whichever we would like to refer to them as, will also help answer their transactional questions to some degree as well, kind of playing deal doctor. We want to make sure recruiting's a focus. So recruiting is number one in their job description. And you'll see that at ICC, we provide a very detailed job description that really itemizes all the individual tasks, duties, job specific, even compensation models that we provide to our clients so they can use with their buyer's agents. Very important, we outline these up front, right? So that they understand that, for example, recruiting is a big part of the job. Because if you try to add that in later, it's a lot tougher to say, hey, this wasn't part of the deal, right? So we need to make sure that's established up front. Even we may not get to recruiting for a while, at least they knew up front that time was coming and they aren't doing their full role until they start recruiting. Same with expectations around it. That's why we put performance benchmarks in there with activity-based indicators, ABIs, and results-based indicators. The amount an activity-based indicator might be the amount of recruiting appointments they need to set or conduct. Results-based indicators, RBIs, might be the amount of recruits that they are supposed to have joining each week or year or month even, and year to date, where we're tracking the number of recruits they bring on board. And that should be very important to them, because one of the ways we're going to get to compensation here in a moment and talk about how we compensate them, but there is going to be some incentive for them. The more agents they bring on, the more production, we're going to be paying them a little bit based on that production. So because of that, it behooves them to have much more agents out there producing, because that's what really moves the needle for both the team leader and the lead buyer's agent is more agents. Yes, we're going to have them, a big part of their role will be productivity, coaching, and training of the agents on the team. But there's only so much you can control there. If you have 4 or 5 agents, it's great. And maybe your efforts get them to sell a little bit more. But a lot of that's not in your control, right? They get sick, they get divorces, they go through life drama, they quit, they move, or they just aren't, it takes them a while to develop their skill set. So you can only do so much there. And even if you do amazing with all of them and they all sell a little bit more, we're not knocking it out of the park on growth. What really moves the needle is imagine bringing on 5 or 10 more agents that each do 20 transactions themselves. That could be 100 to 200 more units closed per year. So that's real significant growth where you move the needle, and this lead buyer's agent can then control and significantly impact the amount of income they're making when they're compensated on a portion of that increased production. So it's very important that we put recruiting up front for that lead buyer's agent. Yes, we're going to have them still sell, so they can still keep adding the income that they do. They need to lead by example anyway. We might, and then they're going to hold their team accountable. They're going to help coach, train, and onboard new agents, and continue to train and hold experienced agents accountable, especially to working their own sphere of influence and our conversion process for any leads or inbound leads the team is generating and providing to them. So we always want them working on lead generation, lead conversion, and the growth of their own sphere of influence. And we really need someone that's going to hold the agents accountable, that and help them succeed. That's got to be the biggest value your team gives, is our agents come to the team and they succeed at a high level, get what they want in life because they have very good incomes. If you can establish that, you will grow. So it's very important we have that piece in there. Don't get me wrong, but there's only so much you can do there. So we have to rechannel that energy if we really want growth in production, income, and a little bit of leverage for some life balance. We need to also put recruiting up there with a little bit higher priority, right? So that's kind of the importance there. So we've got to make sure we establish a growth mindset with this lead buyer's agent, with maybe the team leader too, and all the agents on the team. That's the only way we're going to grow. We're going to provide more coverage for each other through that increased success and growth of the team. Everyone should do better because we're going to get more branding out there. We're going to stir up more business from all these different sources. We can cover each other when we're going out of town, when we get sick, when we're on vacation, what have you. You're going to see we all generate a lot more business together. The bigger the team gets with that growth. It's very important they get that business abundant mindset, okay? Compensation is pretty simple. We generally just compensate the lead buyer's agent with a small percentage or an override on the production of the buyer's agents on the team. Usually that number is 5, anywhere up to 10%, right? So they're going to get 5% of the buyer side deals that the team produces. And that will be part of their income. That's typically going to come out of the lead agent side. It's really important. I don't like it coming out. I've seen it trying to take it out of the buyer's agent. So let's say the buyer's agents are on a 50% split. We don't want to reduce their split to 45%, for example, because they'll start to see that 5%, it's going to get out. That 5% is going to pay for this lead buyer. So for this lead buyer's agent. And then we start assigning like a cost to them for a human, which creates a lot of resentment and bad culture on the team. So I don't like it. This is one of the few costs I think that the team leader should take out of their side. So the buyer's agents continue to get paid the same amount and are always paid the same amount. And that way it really does appear like you're compensating through that. And now because they're getting that 5%, 5% of 5 agents versus 10, 15, 20 agents, they can create a lot of passive income for themselves and a lot of growth. And it really doesn't cause them to lose too much time because we're really just having a weekly accountability meeting. They can go as far as to do like a weekly one-on-one coaching meeting, but I really don't think it's needed. Certainly we get big. I really think we can handle this in group meetings. So you're really just meeting with them per group. And the other thing you're doing is you're out recruiting. So we have one group meeting to coach, train, hold them accountable, like a weekly sales team meeting. And then that's what's going to take care of the retention and the production, training and coaching in the office. And then they're going to be out recruiting and they're going to recruit. And other than that, they're going to handle their own sales. So it shouldn't be too much of a time factor. Yes, they will get some deal doctor calls. People are going to call about questions about how to handle transactions, especially when there's new agents coming on until they get their legs under them. But it really won't be that much additional time. If it does become a major problem, we can even get a showing specialist for the lead buyer's agent to help them show some properties for them. Or we could start buyer's agents out in that role, and always that way the lead buyer's agent can actually start training showing specialists into buyer's agents. Could even have a couple of them at once. We've got a lot of teams that do that as well too, and it's worked very, very well. It gives agents some immediate income right off the bat, a smaller percentage of income. I'm not going to go into the entire showing specialist or showing agent role. We have that all over our website at therealestatetrader.com. If you want to just type showing agent or showing specialist into the search bar, it's something our coaches coach on and train at a very high level. But using a showing specialist as a means of onboarding buyer's agents and also providing leverage to the lead buyer's agent or even other buyer's agents on the team is a very common thing, and it works very, very well. So anyway, I really hope that this helps you kind of understand the job description of a lead buyer's agent on a real estate team. Thanks again.